nice and tidy edited down video, but I have ways for you to make it faster. You can click that little gear on the YouTube settings right there on the video and adjust the playback speed, make me sound like a chipmunk, and it'll go a lot faster. You can also look and see if there's timestamps for this project in the description, and if you're on a desktop, you can hover over the time bar at the bottom of the screen and see if it's chunked up into chapters, and then that way you can go directly to the step you're looking for. And lastly, you can also tap on the screen on the right hand side of the video picture or on the left hand side to make the video jump ahead, forward or backward if you're on a mobile device. And you can adjust that amount in your settings so you can have complete control over how much it jumps. So if you are on a desktop, you can use the fast forward or the rewind, and that will make it go faster as well. You can also enable subtitles, and the little CC on the screen will enable closed captioning. That way, if I am a little bit harder to understand with that double playback speed, the subtitles might help you out. All right, well, I know that it's not a nice little edited video, but if you sew with me, we'll get there together and it'll be lots of fun. And now for the live stream. Happy sewing! Hello. Hello. Sorry, I was almost late. Can you tell? I got here at 10:40. Yeah. Hi, Diane. Hi, Leah. Hi, Amy, Margaret, Donna. How are you all? Good to see you. Good to see you. I had just enough time to rethread my machine, because I'm going to use 2 strands of thread in the needle for the top stitching. I don't know why, but I think it looks more prominent, and it's easier for me to adjust the tension on my machine doing that. I don't know why, but the other stuff, maybe it's just too thick. And it looks pretty good. I don't think it looks as crisp. That's too, it's not, I don't have a double needle. I just did 2 rows, you know. But you can see it's not, I sped through. But it's very visible, which is nice. So, hi Lisa, hi Delwyn. Nice to see you, Delwyn. Hey Julie. All right, I think I'm set. I got my cheat sheet. I always mostly make a cheat sheet of the directions for trying. I try to stay in the same order as the pattern, but you guys know, sometimes I just don't. I just do my own thing, and it depends on how we're doing. By the time we get to the side zip, like I'd love to get to the side zip today, but I don't, you know, we'll see. And if I can't, I was thinking, well, maybe I would do like 1 more seam before I do it, and then we can do both. What's the cute label? The cute label. That's the label I picked out for today. It's appropriate, right? For my pants. I know it's probably not for pants, but I think it's funny. Is the feed not very clear? It's your tablet. I think so. My face cam looks blurry to me, but I think it's because my glasses are smudged. Those labels are really cute. They were a collaboration with Kylie and the Machine and an artist. And I'll show you all of them because I couldn't resist them. I can't remember where I got them. Where did I get these? I didn't get them from Kylie and the Machine since they're based in Australia. They're all really cute though. Let me show you. There's Happy Dance. Does my butt look cute in this? I thought this would be fun to do on a top. Feeling myself. Make, learn, grow. I love this vintage kind of daisy, face in the daisy I love this one. You make my dreams come true. I want all of them to be this. So that's all of them. I don't think I've used any of them yet. I've gotten close and then I'm like, nah. So, but yeah, oops. This one. I thought it'd be really funny to put this one on my brother's shirt. My brother loves these labels. Like, he loves how funny some of these labels are. And I thought I could save this and put it on one of the shirts that I've made for him, but I don't know. That might be pushing it for him. I don't know. Maybe the Does How's My Butt Look. I think he'd love that one, actually. I'm going to definitely save that one for him. Yeah, I was going to do one of mine. This is the problem. I have a lot of labels right now. Whoops. My labels are very white. Like, they're very crisp and white. And that one is like on that natural fabric. So the two didn't really go good together. And this has, you know, it could go either way. It's cool, so I think it could be the white. I did cut a zip facing out, but man, like, it's on the cross grain. I got the name of the fabric on there, and I had very little. It's off grain. It's off grain on the cross grain, and I barely had enough for it. So I don't think I'm going to use this actually because of the way I'm going to do a lapped zipper on the side seam, and then that way it's hidden. Hi, Elena. How's it going? So we're making the Cosecha pants today. If you saw on the thumbnail at the beginning, I'm making View B, which is the elastic back version, cropped wide leg. Patch pockets front and back. I'm doing a contrast yoke. I'm doing contrast above the yoke seam, all contrast, and solid on the bottom. So, and this is my print, my contrast. I want this over here. I want you off of here. The iron is on. What else? I don't think I did anything since I saw you guys last, but I made my bin look nicer, but I didn't arrange things the way I like to arrange them. Oh, and you know what? Sorry if I misled you. You only need one of your waistband for View B. You don't need two, of course, because it's folded. So I knew that, and I still cut two. So you only needed whatever fabric you want to do in the upper half. Here's my other waistbands. So those are my waistbands. We're going to want our yokes and our pockets first. And then this is my bottom part, and this is the fronts, and then these are the backs. We've got our zipper, facing, waistband, that's all going to go on the bottom of the bin. So what do we think? Do we think, oh, sorry, mid-choke. French seams, flat felled, serge. I'm thinking flat felled, sorry, in some areas. I like flat felled because it's less bulky than French seams. We could also do something totally different. Like we could do some of the more alternative seam finishes you just don't see very often, like a fake French seam, where you sew it right sides together, but then you tuck the ends in. I think that's actually kind of fussy, but it's great if you're like, shoot, I want to do French seams. Self-bound seams, where you wrap one over one on top of the other. I don't want to do that just because there's not enough seam allowance for that. You think French, not flat felled. Okay. What other good ones could we do that are appropriate for pants? I don't know. I think like low bulk. Low bulk is always the way to go. I'll probably do flat felled on the pockets, the joining, you know. Oh, and I also forgot interfacing. Let me go get some interfacing. Where's my little 1-inch roll? Oh, I get to use my 1-inch roll, which I've never used before. So cute. Oh, right. Hey, Sally, how's it going? With contrast thread, flat felled. That's true. We need some 1-inch strips. Don't you just feel like as soon as I take this off, all bets are off, right? And we need this to stabilize the side seam where the zipper's gonna go. And it looks like you stabilize both side seams for the yoke. Hey Shem, how's it going? So you need 4 of these 1 inch wide, like my cheating interfacing, and 9 inches long. I'm gonna cut the, I have a little ruler on my table here. Well, it's not a ruler, it's tape with a ruler printed on it. If you're doing view A, you need more of these for the pocket. No. Yeah. Well, if you're doing view A, make sure you look at the list of interfacing that you need, because it's not a pattern piece, so you need to remember to do it, because you're going to want to do that to stabilize your diagonal. Yes, Leah. You end up with stitching that shows 2 rows of stitching that shows on the right side. So maybe we could do that for to join these pockets. Oh, let's put this interfacing on here right now so we don't lose track of it. I'm saving all these pieces because I keep thinking they're going to have pocket markings, but I don't see them up here. It must be the size I printed. I don't know. I have the coin pocket. Let me think of the name. All right, let's see here. We're just going to iron this on right now and get this on here so they're not like floating around in the bin. I don't really know what all of view A needs, but just make sure you don't miss those things. We're just jumping right into it today. I think someone wrote a comment on the whole like wordplay we were doing yesterday that brought up another one. I can't remember what it is though. That was so funny. Just kind of bending that on the gentle curve there, pulling it around. If yours is really curved, you could probably put a little like nip. Let's see, I have this whole bin of scissors I've been meaning to try. Let's see if these work. Oh yeah, that works. And then you could just let it lay flat like that. With the tricot, it's just so not bulky, you'd never notice that little overlap there. I don't have it lined up at the top very well. Ooch down, ooch, 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 ooch. There we go. All right, now we're ready. I don't know why I have these yokes with it though. Yeah, exactly, Leah. I get that from Waywack, yeah. There's probably other places that sell it. I've just kind of fallen in love with this tricot. I use it on wovens and knits. I use it everywhere. There are other types of interfacings that are even probably more appropriate in certain situations. And a lot of people order it from a couple of places in the guild. And there's actually, I'm pretty sure, a pinned post at the top of the guild about interfacing. Am I right about that? No, maybe one's about muslin and one's about pattern printing. If we don't have an interfacing one, we should have an interfacing one. Fashion Sewing Supply is another place. Yeah. This is what I was worried about. My cameras don't like this. Do you see that? When I do sponsored things, I'm always trying to tell them, I'm not trying to control what fabric you pick, except for that. This is what I don't want to happen. All right, so we're gonna do some flat felled seams here. Let's just match up a bunch of pockets. Right? Let's move these out of the way. How are you all? Happy Thursday. Okay. So we're going to do this. Wrong sides together. This is a great lesson in minding your seam allowance and the junctures there. I have a little ruler I like to use. So I'm always looking to see if that little spot there, remember, don't ever line up your raw edges. It'll be off. And this one looks a little shallow down here. And that could be just because of my cutting, most likely, you know, so. I feel like I could go a little further. So next month is May. Am I shouting? Oh no, Amy, I'm sorry to hear that. Your shorts are for your top and skirt and threw in some shorts too. Okay, Aisha, see ya. Good luck at the appointment. Hey, Sydney. Next month is Me Made May. And I just want to catch y'all early on this because Me Made May, this is your PSA, is not about posting your makes every single day. You do not have to do that. That is actually not the challenge. If you want to know the challenge, go to the Sozo blog who created it and check it out. Okay, which way should we go? Should we go, we want to go down. Pretty sure we want to go down because we're going to press the yoke seam up. Yeah, so we're going to trim the pocket edge. So I feel like there's a lot of sewists who get pretty discouraged during Me Made May because they're like, I only have 3 things that I've made ever, or 2 things that I really like that I've made and even want to show people, and everybody's posting something they made every single day. And that's not the spirit of Me Made May. You can do that if you want. The spirit of it is to challenge yourself basically to use what you have, how to use what you have in your wardrobe. It doesn't even have to be Me Made. It can, you know, it's just a way to be mindful. You can make a challenge where you're like, okay, there's something tickling me right here. I'm only going to use stash fabric in May. I'm only going to fix all the things that have holes in it in May. Yeah, exactly, Mullen. Yeah, she does. She has a podcast now called Check Your Thread. I'm only saying this. I don't participate in Me Made May really to speak of, like just because I don't want to contribute to that whole thing of making someone feel bad about what they can and can't do, because that's not what sewing is about. Sewing is about whatever you wanted to go into it for, right? If your challenge is like, someday I want to be able to wear something I made every single day, and you finally did it, then do it. Like, that's great if that's your challenge. You know, what is going on with my nose? It feels funny. I think last year, I don't even remember what I did, but I just don't want you to feel let down. Like, I see some really prominent sewing people, and that's their challenge, to wear something every day. And sometimes I just think, really, why? Like, it's just, I don't know. You don't have to. You can do something else. Just make it about what you want. And it's totally fine if your challenge is to wear something every day in May, because you're like, I finally did it. Great, do it. I just don't want you to feel like when you see people wearing something every day that they made, I will figure this out. Oh, maybe I should shut my door. There is a piece of skin on my nose. And it was tickling, it was peeling. Hi, Michelle, how's it going? So anyway, I just wanted to get ahead of you guys on that, because I see a lot of people feeling overwhelmed. Some of them just don't even go on Instagram during May. Some people hide accounts. I've heard all kinds of things like that. And that, I think, for the person who created, my seam allowance changed a little bit there. You don't want your seam allowance to change during this because this is going to be really important that these line up for your yoke. I'm going to make that a little bigger. Like, I know the creator of this challenge herself has said, oh, I love that I just thought I could make that bigger without any consequences. But no, we got to take out that seam. So. And don't feel like you can't, like, say, but, like, you can't share your challenge with us and that's your challenge is to wear something every day. Like I said, go for it. But for those people who feel discouraged by seeing stuff like that, don't be discouraged. That might be their challenge, and that's okay, you know? We all have our thing. Oh, you know what I just realized? That I'm talking too much. That's one thing that I realized. My top stitch thread is it's the well, that's okay. That's consistent. It's the bobbin thread. Okay, good. It's the bobbin thread on every single one of these. Okay, good. Well, at least it's consistent. We'll have top stitch thread on the other one, but too bad I didn't get it on both. Should I change that? I don't know. This is what talking while you're sewing gets you. Oh, that's good. I really want to make the placemats I have planned, but I don't have any time for personal sewing right now. I flirt sometimes with not doing any personal sewing at all, you know? Like this back stitch right here. What were we thinking, Saremy? Come on. Do better, Saremy. Ripping already. We always do. We always, right at the beginning, right? So if, what do we think about this? Okay, first of all, we know how I feel about a back stitch right here, but I don't know. Is that gonna bug me? You know what I could do? I'm gonna take it out. Can I take it out? Maybe I can take it out and move it to the side seam a little bit, because then it'll be hidden in the seam allowance. It's a good thing we start with basic things on this, you know, because anytime we start a stream on a project, we always have some ripping. Okay. So now what we have is no back stitch on some of this. Where is it? Where is it? There it is. Okay. That's the... Okay. Tell me a story. I'm going to take this out right here. Hi, Sarah. How's it going? How's your grading going on your Dawn jeans? Did you understand what I was saying? You're doing a good job. I'm thinking right now, sometimes I really like it when I have to seam rip because it makes me, I start thinking about like, what do I want to do here? Because right now what I'm thinking about is how my bobbin thread is showing on all of these seams, right? And if we wanted to do the nicer top stitching, right, the bigger top stitching, it should have been the other way around. So now when I go to finish this flat felled seam, I'm going to have to use my top stitch thread on this so I can see where I'm sewing. So it's going to be one row without the strands and one row with. So what do you guys think? Is that being too picky? Do you know what I'm saying? So in other words, this is what's going to show, right? And so when I flat fell this and I top stitch along this edge, I'm going to have my more visible top stitching showing right here, but my bobbin thread on this row. Didn't really understand, but it might make sense for me to do the video. Well, just follow the grade. I just, like that pocket wasn't grading. So the example you showed me, I knew wasn't reflecting the entire garment. It was grading in width, but the opening wasn't grading at all. And that makes sense. It's a pocket opening. I thought it was an armhole. Check to see how it looks. Okay. Okay. So basically what we're going to have is this. Oh, I just trimmed the wrong side because that's the top side. Let me use the fly facing, or the fly, zipper facing, so that we can actually see what it's going to look like on this fabric. The 3-foot rule, yeah, true. Okay, so I sewed it with this side up. I'm trimming this side. I didn't do wide enough seam allowance, but we'll get the idea. Oh, maybe I did. Okay, and then this is what I'm proposing. This is what I'm saying is going to happen. Oh, so maybe you guys can't even tell. See how this one's more prominent? That's what the pocket's going to look like. Move my pockets, making me, now it's fine. Hey, Jackie. Is Mafia here? I don't see Mafia. Oh, I was looking for green. I'm doing pockets. So what do you guys think? Totally fine. All right. Cool. All right, let me just fix this guy here. And the way we're going to do this is we're going to sew up to this and we're just going to hand tie it. And then I won't have a back stitch right there. So we'll pull this to the back. And then we're going to be on our way. There we go. Hand tie this real quick, and this will be in the seam allowance, so it won't be a big deal. We have a lot of pockets at first, but these are the only pockets we have, just these 4. But they really set a tone, right? Because we're going to incorporate them with the yoke. All right, and so now it looks fairly seamless. What's that going on right there? Why am I having so much trouble? All right, let's iron these and get them ready. Cutting is always a strange perspective on the camera. It might look like I'm really close to something, but you're looking at it from above. It's a really bizarre, it just does something kind of bizarre. I used to get a lot of comments about my rotary knifing. And my hand was like not close at all. Because, you know, like if something's sitting right here, but my hand's up here, and people like somehow think I'm hurting myself with my rotary knife, but it's up in the air. All right. Oh, I didn't see that. bodice is fully interfaced. Did you include a picture? Are you allowed to? I feel like we could literally have a group in the guild for the folks that are doing tests. You know? I'm going to bring the camera down a little bit. Yeah, that's totally fine, Sarah. I don't want you to violate. I feel like we've helped so many people with their tests, and I wish pattern companies knew that. You know, like, That a little better? I'm going to dial down the sharpness so the fabric isn't doing so many kooky things. Is that okay? It's still above neutral, like it's still sharper. My machine is really close to the edge right now. Yeah, thanks, Jackie. I'm a little like, they do look a little better in person than on the camera. This black picks that up. This gray looks really blue here and on the camera, and in person it looks cooler, you know? All right, there we go. Right on the edge though. All right, let's flat fell all these. It's a pocket stream. You know what I don't think I told you guys? Did I tell you guys that I ended up buying that blouse? Remember the patchwork blouse that we all talked about during Pattern Chatter? That's all those different pieces. They had a sale and I ended up buying it. It's like I'm such a process sewer sometimes. I just have to do it. Like these. These are a really good example. Sometimes I just have to sew something because of what it looks like. There's a new Nomi pattern coming out. I know I'm gonna get it because I have to sew it, and it's it looks a lot like that one dress that, God, did I buy that thing? Remember that dress we had that was, yeah, the bow blouse. I got that. I got the bow blouse and I didn't get the dress version. I got the blouse version, and I got the other one with the circles. The one, yes, Lisa. Yeah. The one that was backlit. And then, do you guys remember, I don't think it's assembly line, it might be. Remember that really stupendous like dress that was ivory and black, and it had the wave, the contrast, so the black and the ivory came together in that wave? Well, there's a Nomi pattern coming out that is a two-piece, like just simple top and simple pant, but that kind of wave going. Very cool. Am I lining it up to a spot on my presser foot? What I do is when I trim that seam allowance, I just wrap the seam allowance around it. I'm obviously not being very methodical or precise. I just am going for it. So you could be very much more precise if you want. I don't use my presser foot at all because I have wrapped the top seam allowance around the cut one. So it just neatly kind of creates its own edge. So. Yes, you can, Michelle. You can swap the elastic back for it, but I don't think, wait. Let me rephrase that. Really what I think you should do is make the elastic back version into a narrow leg. Because the narrow leg one has no room for elastic in the back. So wait, can you actually have the elastic back on the narrow leg instead? Yeah, so you won't need the elastic on the narrow leg because it's fitted to the body. The elastic would just sit there, in other words. There's no extra fabric. Okay, we ironed all this on. Now we're gonna start sewing. Let's do our fronts first. Let's get 2 bolsas. Okay. This fabric's going to be the end of me on this on the camera. All right, so if we flat fell on this one, do I do the same thing? You would like elastic instead of darts at the back, so then you need to pick the back that has the elastic on it. Because if there's darts in there and it's fitted to your body, you can't add elastic. You could elastic, but there's no space for it. Like, it's not going to cinch anything. It's already cinched in, right? So what you need to just flip it. So use the narrow leg on the elastic back version. All right, right sides together. Wait a minute. Yeah, right sides together. We'll just keep this top stitching phenomenon going here. Wait, but this time we're pressing going up. Oh, this is so interesting. What an interesting conundrum. Okay, wait, I'm just gonna sew a little bit. Wait. So what I'm about to do is actually do this time. Oh, that's interesting. So in the instructions, it does say, like, make sure you flip your seam up, because this one's gonna, or you flip your seam down, which I did, like this is the seam and this is the flat felling, and then you flip this one up. But honestly, oh yeah, that might work. Okay, but the top stitching is gonna be down here. Interesting. That does work. But I think for the way I would want this to look, I think what I want is all my top stitching to be on this print, right? So then I would much rather it do this and line up like that. You know what I mean? Nope, what nope? Pattern Fantastique Harmonic said, that's it, thank you. Nope, it needs to match, yeah. I was like, what's Libby, or what's Sydney saying nope about? I'm like, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it has to match, right? This is the beauty of this pattern, right? It's cool, all the top stitching, and that's what Judith said. She said, that pattern, it's mostly top stitching. I was like, oh, that's so funny, because I was still under this, I was still being fooled by the pictures that there was something tricksy happening in there. I just love that. I love that it's like, so, I don't know, just, I was going to say deceptive, but it's like, it's cool. Engineer brain says, no, mine too. I'm not technically an engineer. I'm a pattern engineer. All right. Line this up. Don't stretch this. It's your yoke on the bias. That was fast. The pin in your dog's knee came loose. Oh. Yeah, exactly what Mullen's saying. She said it a lot quicker than I could. I don't want to accidentally cut that top edge, so that's why I flipped it. I'm also trimming off my, I think my notches for my pocket placement. So yeah. Okay, we have one. Yeah. I'm glad you could get in. They could just deal with it. Pattern engineer, same ring type, yeah. It's even maybe more more questioning when you're a sewist, right? You're like, no. If you have to ask, right? You probably know the answer. Keep those raw edges lined up. It's going to be 90 degrees here today. Springing, so good. Okay, so, oh, I think I had a funny story to tell you. Well, I had kind of a not so funny story about Noodle, though. Remember when Noodle got bit by something? I was like, something went like this to him. He's a cat, right? Something did it again to him. He recovered so much faster this time. 2 punctured marks right here. Face fully swollen, the whole face, barely opened his eyes. He looked like, did you guys ever follow that cat, Monty, who was missing a chromosome? He looked a lot like Monty. Cute in a different way. And anyway, he's fine now. Oops, I just bonked that camera. So, so now my other like yard drama right now is, you know, I took all those roses from my mom. I only want to take in native plants, even though my yard is not native because we inherited what they planted before. Why is that so narrow compared to that? Huh? I found there's this one mound of just lavender kind of by this other little building. It's kind of like out of the way, and I thought this is perfect. Lavender, roses, perfect. So see how, Leah, see how I trimmed this edge here? So then it just wraps around that. So you could iron it first, but I just don't find, I find like I'm just going to burn my fingers if I do that, so I just don't. But anyway, maybe I could show you guys the video too, because George the deer is eating all of the roses. So there were like, I want to say like 12 roses that my mom gave me. She just didn't want them in her yard. They were old. They had survived the fire. And let me see if I can pull up the video. And Michael said, something's eating the roses out there. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. He's like, nope. So he put out the wildlife cam. Where is it? Oof, I've done a bit since then. Here it is. Okay, wait. There he is. The culprit. Where's the play button? This is a rose bush all lopped off right there. Look at him eating up. Just going down the line. I made a buffet. I made a buffet. Let me see if I can show you the picture of the roses. Because yeah, so here, well, this is right after I planted them. So this is a line of roses right here. And then that's the lavender mounds over here. And there's a creek back there. That's Molly right there. They were just starting to leaf out, and they were doing really, really good. And they've fully leafed out now. There's a burn pile over here. It's kind of a scrubby little area. You can see there's, so it's all these roses. He just goes right up and down, lopping them all off. I don't have any peonies, no peonies. Yeah, oh, totally. Spring's almost over there. Oh my goodness, I've missed a couple things here. I don't have any peonies. No, no peonies for me. I think they're amazing. I've had bad luck with them just because where I used to live wasn't cold enough. You know, it didn't freeze enough. And here, I don't think it would either. I'm just not about that whole put them in the freezer life, you know? Like putting them in the freezer to give them that simulation of a cold winter. I'm being really gentle, by the way, because this is a biased seam. Just wrapping it, and I just sit here and I tuck my finger. You know, like when it kind of does a rounded edge right there? I just push it with my finger, and that sometimes corrects those little lumps that you get. And see, I'm wrapping it around that cut edge. I'm finding that, I think it's my foot. You know, I think I bought a top stitch foot. It's because of the split toe, it's probably keeping this edge right there, and that's why my needle is so close to the edge. I'm not saying that's a good thing. So, oh, nice, Molly, you're finally getting something. Isn't that how roses are supposed to protect themselves? Yeah, deer find a way. Yeah, it's just almost impossible to deal with deer. He's not eating the one rose near the house now. I kind of figured he might eat them, but I I thought they would bloom first, like I'd get to see them bloom, because I don't know what they are. Like my dad and brother just showed up with all these black tubs and bins with bare root roses. And then the next day, it started raining for weeks. And I had to keep dumping the tubs. We had to pull all the tubs under cover because it just smelled like sulfur because we're on like spring water. I'm assuming that's why it smelled like sulfur. I'd never smelled the sulfur before, but maybe once the water's sitting there. So yeah, I had to wait forever to be able to, and as soon as it was sunny long enough, I planted them. This is not very straight. You guys take for Palm Springs this weekend for a break from, yay! Oh, it's supposed to be nice there. Don't worry, don't think about that. How come I didn't notice that's not very nice there? I don't like that. This looks nicer. Imagine if you had enough print to pattern match. Am I staking the deer? What? So Michelle, this is so funny because you said, is there a weed I can direct them to instead, right? So my mom's first response was a Google link to companion planting for deer. And she's like, you need to plant them near something that is very fragrant, like lavender. There are 20 lavender bushes right next to those darn roses. I was like, Mom. She was all about trying to rescue those roses. I'm like, why didn't you just keep the roses? I did not want the roses. I just don't say no to my mama. I want native plants. I don't have peonies. It did say you could plant them next to peony, lavender, and sage. Sage would do really well. Oh, yeah, Leah. The squirrels are I'm sorry, I meant to take this one out. The squirrels are kind of ruthless on my succulents. Dill is supposed to deteriorate. Oh, dill. Oh, that's a good idea. Have you ever even tried human hair to deter deer? What? What do I like better? Roses with human hair on them or roses without blooms? I think that's kind of a deep question, Anna. Like maybe I would do like half and half. Because, I mean, I have hair to spare. I don't know how it is for someone to live in the house with someone with long hair, because I'm always trying to make sure you don't find my hair on things, you know? But it's so bright. Like, it's like white. You ever mix in the garden there? Oh, yeah. Yeah, the deer are very exposed. He doesn't care. George is our buddy, right? So I don't know if that's George. I'm just assuming because he's just so familiar with our yard. you are going to be so much faster at sewing these pants because you aren't talking nonsense to people at the same time. So let me make this look hard, and then when you go to do it, you're going to be like, oh my God, this is so easy. Beverley leaves hair all over the house. How much hair does this 4-year-old? Oh yeah, your 4-year-old does have a head of hair. That's right. I was picturing the baby at first. My bits of my husband's, would that be enough? Leah, my husband's not that hairy, we've seen, right? He's got 12 left. Yeah, the deer gets desensitized. Nothing's desensitizing George. He's like, that's why, yeah, anyway. All right, we're just gonna fold this edge under a little bit more. I'm gonna look, if I trim this little edge down a little more, it'll be easier for me to do that too. Because it'll naturally want to. Oh yeah, exactly. This time of year, right? The dogs. Okay, let's try this again. Let's fold this a little more. Fold this a little more. You can't solve a blump if you can't turn it under there more. I'm going to trim this one a little more too. There we go. All right, back on track. But I really would like some guidance on where to put the pocket. I'm just not sure. That looks better. Yeah, right? Buffet. Oh my gosh, Aisha, that's the other thing my mom said. So first it was plant them next to lavender. And then the next thing was Irish Spring bars of soap in those little wedding gift bags, which oddly I knew what she meant when she said that. Like those little organdy or organza fabric bags. Let me get the, let's go over here. I have the pattern piece right here, just for this moment. I can't remember what the last thing she said was. Besides fencing, you know, I was like, oh man. So there, oh, here's my pocket markings right here. So you know what I'm gonna do is just lay this ruler like this so that that line is, oh, I need it a lot higher than that. But I can feel it in there. So we'll just line up this edge along this ruler and we'll carry that up just like that. All right. I need to hem the pocket. Oh my gosh. This is exactly what happens when I go, oh, this pattern, I'm gonna really have to pay attention to it. And then I start looking at it, I'm like, what? Wait, this is like patch pockets. Cool. And then I start not doing things right because I'm like, I got this, I'm a little too cavalier. All right, let's put this one on here. Actually, what we could do, more accurately, mimic the other pant leg. That's more important. Once you get one on there, you want them to look symmetrical. So we're gonna go here and here. All right. Okay. Organdy is another fabric that you never hear of anymore, like broadcloth or batiste or any of those. Okay, what's the, okay, there's the, let's iron these. Oh my gosh. Okay, I've started using the chat window in my streaming software, and it is, I cannot see it from here. Like, no way, no how. They do not design this software for sewers. They design it for gamers. Just checking my width. I have a notch there. I'm following. It looks like it goes right to the, just above the seam here. So just press hard because it's a little bit thick because I have the flat felled seam. The seam allowance is going and interrupting it a little bit, but it's still doable. It's not a big deal. It's worth it. Okay. Doesn't that look a little bit wonky? I could see this one was off. That's where that flat felled seam really wants to make me do something different. Yeah. Yeah, it's stiff, right? Bye, Leah. Right? That's it, Terry. I think you're right. It's organza made out of cotton. Because organza, we used to be always silk, right? When I used to see it. All right, does this say pocket where I hem it like this? What do I want the look to be? I think it would be kind of cool if this pocket didn't have a visible hem. You know what I mean? I'm not sure how I would accomplish that without using something I don't usually use though. So do I want to do like a narrow hem and fold it over like this? Do I want my stitch line to be here or here? I think I want it down here. But I'm just thinking about my top stitching stuff. If I put it up here, I would be more apt to get a nice even line, but I want 2 rows. What do I want? What do I want? If I do a little narrow turn back like this, I would completely be staying in line if I did my first one with the bobbin thread showing, and then my next one from the right side with the top stitch thread showing, right? So do that. And if anyone's wondering, like this thickness is not a big deal, but I'm only using like linen canvases, so it's been pretty easy to deal with. I'm just liking my bobbins looking good. Sometimes they just don't when I do the thicker thread, you know. Yeah, Terry, if there's if one of those pinned links, like one of them is a spreadsheet to something, I can't remember. I know one of them is something Rachel started. I can't remember what she was doing, but I think she was doing inexpensive fabric to, perfect for using for muslins and toiles and sample garments, you know, like when you're trying to suss fit out and you just need some affordable fabric. The other one, I feel like that might have been to printers, pattern printers. But we should do one maybe for interfacing and interlining. And then we could add to it. And everyone can, like the spreadsheet I made, you could add to, but Rachel's, I think, is just a comment section. I can't remember. And I just pin it. Or you can create a new post and then I can pin it for you. Yeah, no worries, Terry. Anyone can start it if they want. Just check the ones that are already pinned first. I only say that because just in case it's like someone does a post and then like 10 people put links on there and there's already one, it you know, splits up the content. I have been chatting way too much while doing all this top stitching. It looks kind of wiggly. All right. I know you're not going to believe me, but now we're ready to attach the pockets. I know I've said that a few times, but we really are this time. Yeah, everything in one place, and then we can just do it by what it's for, you know? This sits a lot lower than I thought. Can you see it? Is it camouflage? All right, so let's think about when we turn this back, are we still lined up, right? We want to make sure that we're still lined up. Now, my linen's a little loosey-goosey, so you could, depending on what your fabric is, you could pre-iron it, all the edges. And that probably is a really good idea in this case, you know, so do all of your edges, and we could do that too. Let's go do that. Yeah, no one used the topics. Yeah, and I hardly use the tags. I will admit that myself because I'm going to get my phone so I can see chat. I don't know, I just don't. I should. What am I looking for? I'm looking for my stream. Here we go. Probably got to watch an ad. Here we go. It's okay. Which of these shows have you heard of? Fatal Attraction, The Nurse, Love and Death, Barry. I think I've heard of that one, and that one. Love and Death. What's that one? Submit survey. Look at that. Look at, I'm such a good little YouTuber. Well, maybe what we could do is we could start, you know what, actually, Anna, let's have to think about how to do this. So you know how on the side under the guild feed, there are the resources for navigation and videos. We could do one for fabrics. I'm not sure about permissions. That's the only thing, but we could make a maybe something so that people can add to it. I'm not sure about permissions as far as, yeah, no, that would work. I'm trying to think making it something easy to navigate for everybody. not just a scrolling feed, right? Because then things can get lost. But what if we made it so that it was tiles, right? And this tile has an image of interfacings and interlines. You click it and it goes to the resource, right? And then people could add to it, hopefully. We could do something like that. What if we did that? At least for resources that are sewing related, that it makes sense. I found the topics easier to add to a post via tagging because the topics were controlled. Yeah. Yeah, the hashtags I've already gotten a little bit like freewheeling. The Tiny Tips one was supposed to be mine. I didn't know, like at the time, Tiny Tips, I created that as a topic because it was a place where I was going to post my branded Tiny Tips, right? And it's totally fine that that's not how it ended up being, because everyone started going, oh, I have a tiny tip, and they put a tiny tip in there. I'm like, oh, okay. Which is awesome because we want more. But it's just really funny because I was like, okay, that's not where all my tiny, because I was picturing something else, like what it would look like after there were a bunch there. I think when you do something like a community, you have to just be relaxed about it because it's a community and everybody is contributing, and that's the beauty of it, right? I see creators, they just are like, oh, it just got too much, you know, and I think that's because you are controlling what the content is. If your community wants something, you need to let them put it in there. That's what they want, you know? Let them help you. Yeah, I mean, keywords is great too. I think you're right. But yeah, I think maybe we could set up a resources thing that anybody can look at. Yeah, I'll play around with it the next time I'm in front of the computer. I can't do any computer work at work here. It's really cumbersome. So it's only when I'm at home in front of my computer. This is rare that I pre-fold and press my pockets, you guys. Let's just witness this moment in Saremy history. I don't go clockwise because I have found, and this is probably me, I am not very accurate when I go around angled corners like this. So say I pressed this, then I pressed this, right? And this is looking like this. Then I press this. What also happens is my folds, this one will be folding over this seam and this one folding over this seam. And so this little edge here has two different angles happening at the fold. And it interrupts like the width for me. You don't come here for couture sewing, right? You think so, Amy? I don't know. I don't think people really want to join spaces. Like, not everybody wants to join spaces like that. We all know what it's become and how chill it is, and just like, I don't know. For me, it's like kind of the only place I like to deal with sewing stuff now. Plus, I like seeing what you guys do and talk about. Okay. You know what I really love about our guild is nobody's selling you anything in there but me. I mean, like, you know me, I'm not really selling myself in there. I'm really tired of everything being for sale sometimes, you know. And I know it is so hypocritical for me to say that since I am selling my groups in there. But I'm not hard selling. Okay. This is my last pocket. See, I told you I lied. I was about to sew the pockets on, and then we came over here again. Yeah, Terry, oh my gosh. As soon as I came over here, I was like, God, I wish I had a cardboard form. That would have been so nice. Okay. Do we want to see, like, okay, let's put these two together and see how they did. Another strategy when you're trying to make things really symmetrical is to sew your pockets together. Sew your pockets together. Draw your seam allowance around the perimeter. Draw it with a basting stitch. Take out, and then you can press it, right? Then you could like press along that seam line, press your seam allowance away from it. Then take out that basting stitch and you'd have two perfectly symmetrical pockets. I know these tips. I don't always do them. This one right here, do we want this seam allowance wider? No, we want this one a little narrower, I think, and this one a little different angle there. I don't want to burn myself. Okay. Yeah, exactly. I like hearing what you guys say actually works because there's nobody in there saying, like, I wouldn't want you to feel like you couldn't criticize something, you know? Like, what if we had a sponsor in there? What if we had the fashion supply place you guys buy interfacing from? What if they were in there, right? And then everyone's like, I hate this place. You couldn't say it. I don't know. I just don't like that. Look how different these are. I'm trying to be like, okay, which one's going to give here? This pocket in general is just wider than the other one by a lot. So we can pull this one out. Let's pull this out a little bit. Make it a little narrower. Okay, now let's line that back up. Right now, I really want to get your feedback on this project I'm working on, but I'm not. I'm not going to do it. I don't need chefs right now. Yeah, baste them together in the perimeter. So before they were ironed, right? Before I had ironed these, you could sew your pockets together, right sides together, whatever you want. It doesn't matter, wrong sides, it doesn't matter. And then you have that stitching line, right? Then you could take that, you could iron your seam allowance back on that seam allowance, basically like folding it back on itself, or just take out the stitches and you'd see your holes and then iron along that line. And then you'd have perfectly symmetrical, within reason, perfectly symmetrical pockets, right? I could be doing this a lot more methodical. It's this hump right here is kind of giving me a little bit of grief right here. So I'm just trying to decide if I want to, look how narrow this one is. Yeah, this one's just in general bigger. So, and if I change it too much, what'll happen is the angle, not the angle, but the like the height of the contrast here or here, you know, will be different from one pocket to the next. Yeah, right, Terry? I know. I just say that that's my butt cheek. They're not symmetrical. Takes down the pressure of sewing symmetrical pockets on, you know? You do what you gotta do. This one's just funky. There's something funky. It's probably the linen. Okay, there we go. That looks a little better. Our community has recommendations I haven't heard elsewhere because we aren't trying to match it. Yeah. I've had people ask me, you know, why not bring in sponsors? And I just don't want them in there. It would be such a different vibe. Okay, that's as much as I am willing to do on that. I want to sew. I am asymmetrical, and I'll just blame it on that. It's quite wiggly, exactly. All right. The pocket is much narrower than where those pins are. So we'll just center it here. Yeah, like what Malin said, you could do that too. Okay, I'm gonna start on this side, and because I have 2 lines of top stitching, I'm gonna start here and then go up, across the top, down around the perimeter, and then continue. I'm just gonna do the whole thing twice, and at the top here, I'm gonna fold down the little corner here, so, because it's my pet peeve when little threads from this little cut edge right here of the pocket sneak out of your pocket, you know? It's one thing you learn around here is all my pet peeves. Sometimes they're kind of... Oh, I know, right, Terry? I could only nurse on one side when I had my child. So yeah, I know all about that. All right, we are getting that lined up. I'm gonna just roll up my pant leg here like this. I sometimes just do this and then pin it. And then I can just go like this. It doesn't clear off everything on my sewing machine, you know? There we go. Oh, linen, we love you. But why do you have to be that way? Okay, same thing. I'm going to fold down this corner, which is quite a bit chunkier from that flat felled seam. If you can't do that, then what I would do is just trim this really good. Pull off all the little threads off this little raw edge. Just pull them all off. Just do this. I'm not getting it because I've already done it, but then you might be able to just fold it back like this and you won't have to worry. I can feel like it's right here is a little like knot of fabric. I think I'm just gonna clip this off. I get a little nervous about doing this because it gives me nothing to fold back sometimes. But now this right here is softer and I can probably fold this back a little easier like this. Because we're trying to line this up as well. Where's my awl? One, two, three. It's not quite on there. We're gonna try and manipulate it a little bit. Oh shoot, that was one stitch too far. Oh well. See, when you're doing these little angles, I'll show you something that you probably won't thank me for. Let me get rid of this tail here. So when you're sewing these little angles like this on pockets, yeah, Carla, hello. Nice, welcome. It's not easy sometimes, is it? So these little angles here, there's a lot of ways to make them symmetrical from left to right, right? And so what I usually do is just pick one of them. And like the one I like to pick is if I were to look at this point right here and line up my pivot straight across from that point, right? So I would have come down and my needle would have landed like right here, right? And then I would pivot. It doesn't matter how you do it. If you had a true double needle machine, doing something like this, the outer needle would be sewing and this one would stop right here. This one would keep going. And then once they were directly across from one another, they would start sewing again. And this one would keep sewing, do, 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 do. And then they're back across from each other. They'd sew together because you're, a twin needle on a home machine can't do that, right? You can't turn corners on a twin needle. Don't try it. It just won't work because this edge here is longer than this edge, this interior line of stitching, right? So the other thing you can do is, you know, making a mark so that you're always at a right angle from your edge. Or, you know, the other thing to worry about though is making sure that if you're coming this way, that you're lining it up the same way as if you were to come down this way and go around. Because what can happen is you'll line up, this stitch will be like, oh, it's like straight across, this one's straight across, and then this one will be like one stitch off. It's just kind of one of those weird things because you're going one direction. There's a lot of different things to think about. So yeah, there's one pin on pattern printing service. Okay, cool, yeah. So anyway, that looks pretty good though. I'm really surprised this is so shallow right here. Like you can't even tell that from the pictures. It is so like sneaky and camouflage. Now that I know this is a patch pocket, I can see that, but I was so fooled by this. It's so funny. Okay, let's do our other one. All right, I'm just gonna fold up my pant real quick again, just to get it out of my way. All right, so let's position this pocket in the same as this one here. And maybe you position these how it looks good on you, you know? I'm just gonna set my ruler right here at the top edge there. And that's where this one goes, right there. Okay, and then we're just gonna line it up based on the seam because that's the most important thing at this point now. Hi Raquel, how's it going? Ah. Makes my pant a little heavier down there. I wanna look at it like this. Let's put a pin there. Let's really try and, I'm not a bad sewist, but I definitely, you know, I don't spend a lot of time perfecting my top stitching and stuff. I sometimes do, and sometimes I don't. I love doing that, but on a live stream, I couldn't spend that much time. And I know for a lot of people, they would actually, maybe they would watch that, right? It's just not, for me, I'm a little too hyped up. I got to keep it moving. So I don't. But you can have a lot of fun with top stitching on this, right? Or maybe you do like minimal top stitching so that it literally is a camouflaged pocket. There's that aspect too. All right, so this is quite thick right here, and I'm a little worried my presser foot's gonna push it away, so I'm just gonna hold it here while I start. Actually, I'm gonna start on the bump so that I can hold it in place. I'm just doing one stitch at a time. All right, let's see if we can pull this over. The awl is a magic tool. The top stitching lines don't line up though, even if the seam does. There's just so many things to think about. Okay. Oh yeah, scoliosis is definitely leads to the asymmetry. I've had plenty of friends and family members with that. I mean, both my immediate family members have it. I think that's one of the areas of that Palmer and Pletch fitting pants book. That's one of the fitting sections I love the most is the asymmetrical one. I look at that one just for fun sometimes. I just think it's really cool. All right, we're going to turn down this little corner here so we don't get those little edges. Just walking that last stitch because it's not quite a whole stitch, you know. 1, 2, 3. All right. Ooh, we're a little too far away. I'm just going to push this so I don't get that off. There we go. That too far away? All right. Using my awl to kind of manipulate where this seam lands. Cute. I love the optical illusion. Okay. Backs. Oops. Oh, that's sample fabric. Okay. We're like starting off at the beginning. All right. We have a left and a right. Our pockets are ready though, so this will be a lot faster. We're going to do our yokes first. And I'm going to do it from this side so that I get that same look with the bobbin thread first. Okay. Line up this end here. I'm not getting this lined up like on this point. I'm not sure why. Probably just linen, right? Linen is, you can blame linen for everything. Yeah, let's not do that. There we go. It could be because where I remember I spliced I lowered my front rise to nothing at the back. That could be it too. I just didn't cut that very accurately where I spliced it together. All right, so I'm just looking at the beginning down here because I trust that one a little bit more. Jeez. I need to roll this one up too. I haven't made a lapped zipper since I did the closures. The closures SBS. So we did like the Sea of Sydney. I did the fly, a few different flies, a button fly, a few different zipper flies, and then the lapped zipper. And I enjoyed sewing those so much. It just made me realize how much I struggled with those when I was learning to sew and how common they were. Lapped zippers were so common then. Now, and invisible zippers were always reserved for formal wear. Now you would just put a invisible zipper in something, you know? And those can be a lot easier, you know? But when I did that SBS on the lapped zipper, I was like, this is so much easier than I remember it being when I was a younger sewist or more inexperienced sewist. Plus they were really common. They just always looked kind of like, you know? Now I feel like I have a pretty good method of it. And I'm excited to show it to you, even though a lot of you probably took that SBS. But if you don't need a lapped zipper, then, you know, you probably wouldn't watch that. And I think you could do I'm hoping you can do a lapped zipper on this. I'm not sure. I could be missing something because of the elastic waist back, but I'll figure it out. Well, you know, Amy, I wasn't very good at those invisible ones either, but I got that foot and now I'm a genius. Look at how much this is jogged over there, but that could be the width of the lap or the zipper allowance, right? Okay, so let's try and get a pretty good seam here, even though it's going to mostly be covered with pocket. This one, I think we're going to do it. It's only 12:30. It took me way too long to do what I've done so far, but it's okay. We've sorted out a lot of things. I think if I did this in a denim, let me think about that. If I was doing this in like an 8-ounce denim, I'd probably sew this the same way. And if you had any kind of like thickness issues, I'd get the hammer out, right? If I was doing this in a heavier denim, I wouldn't do the elastic back, but I probably would think about this pocket construction a little different because you then may want to jog the thicknesses of the flat felled seams, you know, from one another, offset them. And you're going to get a different look in the top stitching. So you just got to pick what you want and to think about it. It looks like wool. Yeah, it's not the best camera fabric, and I apologize for that. All right, so let's place these pockets really quick. Well, I'm just reading the chat really quick. Terry, you don't have to be good at the invisible zippers, just get that foot. We need a project with an invisible zipper so we can use the foot, man. And then I'm going to be a full-time invisible zipper sewer. But maybe I should just do like a little video just so I can get it out of my system a little bit, you know? All right, here are my zipper, my zipper pocket right here, right there. Like that. These pocket markings look like they could be a little closer together than the others were. Yeah, look at that. Okay, good. So we'll just line it up just past that there. We already have these hem. These are ready to stitch on. We did a lot of work for these already. Oh, you did, Terry. I'm sorry. I'll just do this. Here's a little trick. Watch. Okay, we're gonna put this pocket We're gonna put this face down on here, right? And now we're gonna put this one on top here. Make sure the pocket doesn't move. And now we can pin this pocket and we have the same one. Same placement. Boop. Always goes with a boop. Whoa. Those things are so squirrely. Have you ever seen that Angela Wolf video about sewing in an invisible zipper? The one that I love referencing. Just read the comments section. It's so funny because she is so explicit. She's like, now, you know, like, don't flip this. This is how we're gonna not flip this. We're not gonna flip the zipper. And then half the comments are like, oh my God, I still flipped it. It's just so cute, you know? Like we just all do that. That zipper, those things are so flippin' fiddly. The person who ever comes up with an invisible zipper tape where one side is one color and the other side is the other color, there's the genius. You know? Okay, we're gonna fold down the corner here. Just quickly tether all this. Ooh, I landed right there. Oh, am I about to run out of bobbin? Don't play with me like that. Come on, Phoenix. This is that really thick one right here. Okay, let's get that lined up right there. I feel like I could go like a little closer, but I don't know. It looked a little iffy, like it would fall off. Oh yeah, see, it did kind of a funny little corner there. A little narrow there. Oh, the sure fit designs, yeah. Yeah, for your sloper, for the invisible zipper foot. Sure fit sounds like a sloper company. Yeah, I got a little bit off. I was like, oh no, I gotta get over. Okay. Oh, we only did one. I thought we did both. I'm like, yeah, let's do the zipper now. I get so excited about certain things. Okay, we need to position it. A little bit cockeyed. Yeah, we'll do here and here and this one. Yes. Hey, Karen, how's it going? It is Essex. Sorry, it's terrible for the camera. I was really hoping I could make it work still, but it's not good. Good. Okay, Amy. Hope you feel better. All right. Pull down this corner. This one's the chunky one, but actually this one feels not so chunky. Let's put that seam right on there. You know, in some fabric thread top stitching combos, you might find it looks better to line up the top stitching rows than the seam. Just depends. Like, I don't have a high contrast between these, so I don't think either one's gonna benefit me, right? Well, this Essex is the kind that is woven with 2 different colors, so it just doesn't look like it's on the edge, but it really is. Okay, so it's got a black and a white that are warp and weft. That's why it gives it that peppered look. It is not peppered cotton, though, just so you know. This is a more of a solid look. It's like a lower volume difference between the warp and the weft, and then they printed it. Because a lot of their Essex, this is Essex as well, and it's just solid. So a lot of them are like that. They're just like solid old Essex. Probably garment dyed, or fabric piece dyed. It's piece dyed. Oh. Ran out of bobbin. I don't like having hand-tied pockets on the inside. This is pretty soft. Some of them are scratchy. Yeah, there are lots of kinds. This one's a little rough, but it will soften with time. But I have had those as well. So, all right, so I don't want to back stitch right there. First, I'm just gonna pick up my bobbin thread, okay? And then I don't want to back stitch right here, so I'm just gonna hopefully I have a long tail underneath here. Wait, maybe I don't. Oh, I don't. So we need to pull out a few more stitches here, and then I can just tie them. So my top stitching is seamless. Trying to stay away from this corner though, right here. Okay, so now let's actually, wait a minute. My machine has an automatic cutter on it, and because I did that little test, so I need to make my thread longer on the bobbin. All right, now, just line this up. Sorry, that's gotta be so annoying. Yeah, almost fell off there. Okay. One more. Oh, barely made it. Yeah, there we go. I don't want to catch any of these threads in here, so I'm just gonna, oh man, one of them is really messy. Oh, but it'll be okay, I think. Okay, I'm just gonna pull them out of the way. There we go. Let's solve this little issue back here. There's a sweet spot. Yeah, that's it. I know. Exactly. And it's So annoying. I know it's got to be annoying for people to hear that little, it's like your foot's on the machine and it's just, when you're leaning, there's just this amount, and the shoe sometimes changes it as well. All right, I want to pull all these to the back. See if I can, yeah, we can just pull this one, pick them up. And then this one, pretty sure it's just caught back here. There we go. So can we pull it more? I don't want to lose any length. There we go. Yeah, let's give it a little tug. Tug the right thing here because it's kind of looped back on itself. Ugh. Which one is it? Is it this right here? Yeah. Okay. All 6 threads back are back here now. Because I have this double row of top stitching, what I can do once I tie this off is when I'm done, I'll probably weave these ends in between these 2 rows of stitches between the pocket and the pant, you know? And then that way you'll never know. And look at that, you can't even tell where that was. I know, you know, it's right there. It's really obvious on camera. In person, I can barely see. And it's because when I first started, I was a little off. But that won't be noticeable to other people, even in the 1 foot rule, right? Okay, so let's get our left side here. This is my left right here. And then where's my left front? Here we go, here's my left front. I'm gonna do this pocket, zipper. I can't talk lately, it's pretty bad. These are all invisible. Where's that one I got that's not invisible? It's like right on top, here it is. Here we go, okay. So I'm gonna overlock the edge for this seam because of how I'm going to insert this lap zipper. I'm just looking at this jog down here, and I'm kind of trying to I should have overlocked this edge first. I haven't really decided how I'm assembling the pant yet, but I'm assuming flat felled or French seams. But with the, don't set those there, Saremy. With the zipper, I'm going to use an overlocked edge to finish the fabric. You can use a zigzag, anything. So I'm just gonna finish this one leg with the overlock right here, which I'm not sure is even set up, sorry. Let's see, you belong in the bin. I was using all these boxes over here yesterday trying to do a photo, so I was trying to find the right height because I was trying to put something on top of it, and you couldn't see the box. I have all these boxes sitting here that I totally forgot about. Okay, let's bring this over. I'm not even going to change the thread color. What I could do, we always have trouble with this camera failing when I'm over here, but I'm just going to flip it over like this for now. Look at my mess. This is my holder for this when I do binding next to my cover stitch, so that's actually functional. All of this is just scrap fabric that I've been using for one of my projects. Like, I'll test something first before I do it for real. This is from Workshop. It's clean below the surface, I promise. All right, so we're just gonna overlock the zipper edge right now. I didn't even check the serging. It looks okay. I'm gonna tighten it just to make sure. I wish I would have done one of those little tricks. That's what I'm just realizing. You know? Maybe I will in the other one. Maybe I can, I don't know. Maybe shouldn't be experimenting, but you know me. Hey Mary, how's it going? Right, I know. Well, they are. Yeah, they're just kind of fun to use. I don't want to sew that little area there. I just want to, I'm gonna try and enclose this. I'm totally experimenting right now, and my machine's not gonna like this thickness right here. We'll do a trick at the end of this one. I think my current favorite right now is where I let the needles go off the edge, pull them back up, lift up my foot, pull the work, flip it over toward me, stick it back under, and then sew, not trimming any of those. Just a little bit, because I really like getting that little flat edge right there. I like that. Let's see what happened up here though. I mean, that's okay. Didn't really, I created another tail when I got rid of the other. Yeah. All right, let's do this one here. Let's go up this time. Okay, so this one will start with our little tail here, like this. Needles off, up, lift up the presser foot, flip the work, and pull the tail alongside. I'm trying to just flatten it out now. It just doesn't want to relax, you know? It's in the seam allowance, so I'm not too concerned, but I was just trying to get it to be flatter. This thing's traveling off my box. Okay, what am I gonna do up here? I think I'm just going to, I'm gonna pull this out of the way so I don't cut anything. I don't know what I'm gonna do right now. Let's see. I'm gonna pick this up, and now I think what I'm gonna do is just jog over at an angle and keep sewing. Oh, I could have done it at the end. Dang it! Oh well, that's what I did right there. Not bad, actually. At least it's continuous. I don't have two tails, right? Okay. Let's do our let's do our zipper. Okay. So we have, I'm just going to use like a 4.5 coil. It's not 4.5, I'm sorry. It's probably 3.0. I'm not sure. A dress zipper, a lighter weight zipper. The instructions suggest a jeans zipper, and that is probably really good advice because this is right here on your hip and you're gonna sit down. And because it's a higher waisted pant, it's going to have a lot of strain because it's on your hip. If it was your center back, it's not so much of a strain, but yeah, we have a little bit of a strain there. But I'm going to sew this in as a lapped zipper as well so that it's not visible. And that's one thing they say, that this is a visible zipper. And you can sew it like a keyhole style. That's totally legit as well. So I think like this will be a really good, just an experiment. And they probably did a ton of experiments on this to see what zipper would work best on this. I'm gonna do lapped because I like it being covered. I was just thinking about the waistband. So it has a waistband at the top. So this is going to be fine. This isn't going through to the elastic, so that's great. This is, I think, what the problem that could happen with a lapped zipper is because this fabric's going to go like this, right? It's going to look more like that with stitching in an L, right? What can happen is maybe this would flip up and you'd see your zipper, or it would pull or something, but I'm securing, the way I like to sew it is I like to secure the zipper along the edge here, and I like to secure this to the zipper as well. So it's not like it can like blump apart like this, right? So we're gonna give it a shot. And I gotta remember how to do this too. So let's sew our seam below. Don't cut that, Saremy. This looks like a lot more than the 5/8 of an inch that we've been given. So let me just look and see, because the more the better with a lapped zipper. It makes it a lot easier, right? In fact, I've done these often where this is only about, I want to say about 1/4 of an inch max bigger than the seam down here. Okay, so let's see. I mean, honestly, maybe I should just make sure I do it at the seam line, and that doesn't really matter what's allowed here. And maybe this notch right here, that's the seam line. That's it. Yeah, we've got a seam line right there. That's the notch. Okay, we know what we need. We're not going to sew above here. We're just going to sew down here. And we're going to sew it at our 5/8 inch seam. Let's match our angle here. A little thick. A little thick. I have to lift this up and pull it over like this. Is this one really wider? It might not be. It's just because of the way I sewed this. Remember, I yoinked it over a little bit. So those probably would normally line up. That's just me. Okay. I'm gonna, where do I want to do this? I'm just gonna do it right here at the L. Full seam allowance, 5/8 for this pattern. Yeah, right, Barbara? That's what I'm thinking too. It could be just something left over from when I was really bad at sewing those. And that was my experience, 30 years ago. You really can get scarred for life doing a certain step in sewing. Okay, so now we have our seam here, and now we're gonna go over to the ironing board as I try and remind myself how to do this. I'm also gonna get my Hera marker. Exactly, Barbara. Okay. So now, the trick for me is that you're gonna fold one shallower than the other one. And so this is they really both look like the back. This is the front. This is the one with the lap. This one is not. Okay. So this one, let's just press this down here. I have to think about this for a second. I haven't sewn one of these since November or October maybe, I'm not sure. Is it this one that I want to be shallower? I think so. Because this one is the front. No, this is the one. This one I want shallower, right? So we're gonna just fold this one back. I'm gonna fold it back like 3/8 of an inch. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is how I like to do this. Just check it, 3/8 of an inch. And this one here, we're just gonna fold it along the, seam line? Wait, let me think about this. That one goes like that goes like that. And we want this little notch to line up with the other notch just like that. Okay, cool. So we want this to sit That juncture's looking good right now. Like this, and we have a little bit of a curve. That works for me. I think. It's been a while. I just want this to be a little more consistent. This is such a wide seam allowance. That's what's kind of throwing me off here. I usually only do this with 3/4, and this is more like 1 1/4 inches. So when I do it with 3/4, I turn one of these back 3/8 and one of these back at the seam line, I think. So we're trying to create that underlap. Let's see. Yeah, right? Okay, yeah. So the flap, what'd you say the flap? And yeah, is a full allowance. Okay, thank you, Barbara. Thanks for reminding me. Appreciate that. I have this little notch. It's right there. And that looks less than down here. That's what I keep looking at. That's what I'm a little bit like thrown off by. Oh, that was a loud voice out there. Okay. And I'm gonna put my zipper foot on. I never use. Oh, it's attached to the side of my cart over there. I want this quick release screw y'all have, but I don't know what it is or what it, I see things and I'm like, is that really it? Because it's just basically a screw you can grab with your fingers, right? You don't have to use your screwdriver. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, Barbara. I almost want to just trim it off with the serger. Okay. Because if I put the zipper in the way I would sew this right now, the zipper is going to be like way back here. So I'm going to edge stitch it like this, right? And then sew it to there, and then that's what it's going to look like. Oh, okay. Do we have high shank machines? All right, so we're gonna line up the zipper tape to the raw edge there. As long as you have enough seam allowance here to use to put your waistband on, you could, I mean, I could probably even lower this a little bit more because this little stop right here is more like a 1/2 inch from the edge, and we need a 5/8 inch seam allowance there. So maybe I'll put that little metal stop just below the 5/8 line. So I'm really not worried about hitting it when we go to sew the waistband. So we're just gonna edge stitch this zipper on here. And then I'm sewing on the back right now. And this was the narrower folded side. I know some people are like, why don't you just have a tutorial for this on your YouTube channel? Because I do it in the Guild. That's where I put things like this. Oops, I missed it. I know, they're really cheap, right? I don't know why, I just keep like, yeah, I just need to do it. Oh, I'm stuck. I hate that when that happens. There we go. All right. Okay, we're just gonna stitch this. Granted, I should be using matching thread. We're really pushing the envelope here. Using the top stitch thread, but hey. We'll put how visible it is to the test, right? And then when you get down here, just go all the way down into the seam here. Like that, right? Now, all that's left is top stitching that L where your zipper is. So I'm gonna hold this up and look at the back here. see how we're doing. Ooh, my bobbin does not look good. I kind of want to take that out. The bobbin looks really bad. I'm just going to take that bobbin out. It's because I switched bobbins. I didn't really calibrate it. Sorry. Shoot. We were going so well. But look at how easy this is to pull out. See that? That's why we're taking it out. Not to mention that'll be really uncomfortable against my skin. So I could probably just switch back to a regular thread. Not a regular thread, only one strand, you know. Hi Chantel, how's it going? Nice to see you. My bobbin thread isn't looking good, so I'm just pulling this out really quick and we're gonna sew it again. Come on, give me that satisfaction of pulling the thread. I want it. Here we go. Okay. This is where I got my fabric down into the feed dogs. Okay, cool. Let's make sure this looks good. Oh, maybe it's also because of the zipper foot. Less traction. So that looks pretty good. Maybe because this is thicker fabric. Let's do 2 layers. But we have 2 layers plus the zipper. Oh yeah, that's a lot less. Okay. This is one thing about this, the industrial is doing top stitching threads. It's like not the greatest. And next time I have my mechanic out here, I'm gonna say, I want you to show me, because he knew, he was like, what are you doing to this thing? I'm like, well, I use top stitch threads sometimes and I have to crank it. And he's like, I can tell. Oh, nice. Is that something I should wish you, like Happy King's Day or Merry King's Day? I really don't know. What's the appropriate greeting? What is this thread coming off of my... I've never before seen that in my life. That's because I just ripped something out? Huh. Okay, now we're ready. So now, again, we're gonna line this up. I'm gonna do it just past my zipper tape, just to give me that full 5/8. You don't even really need pins for this. You could probably be a little more methodical than I'm being right now. And again, just go down here into the seam allowance, like that. Okay, that looks a little better. It doesn't really look that much better though. That's a drag. So now, if I wanted the facing, which, you know, honestly, I probably should do the facing, and I attached it to this thing here. I would put it on now. I would attach this little facing. I'm just gonna, I have no more fabric, so I literally have to cut this off. I don't know why I did that. But if you want to protect yourself, and that's probably a good idea. Happy King's Day, okay. Maybe I'll just do this regular fabric here. Let me go cut a facing really quick. Oh, the fabric's right here. Cut it. We'll do it at the ironing board. Let's see, where do I want to use? I want to use this right here. Getting my rotary knife. There we go. Okay. I really want to interface this. Wouldn't you guys interface this? Would you? I don't know. Maybe I don't really need to. But I'm thinking it will be less to iron if I do. I have some, oh, here they are. I have some like little scraps that I just keep on hand. Here's one. This will work great. It's just, yeah, it's a shield basically. It's just so that you don't catch you or your garments in the zipper. That's all. I'm just going to interface half of it, you know? At least I did some, and I think that'll be enough, and it'll give some stability to it. All right, and so here we go. It's my iron, my fly shield. I'm gonna sew this right sides together. Let me think about this. I want this to sit like this, right? Yeah, I'm down for that. I'm gonna maybe round this a little bit right here. Still sewing with the, see, anytime I sew with my zipper foot, it doesn't really like to sew. Looks like it wants to sew me. I'm gonna turn that right side out. I'm gonna overlock this raw edge right here real quick. I'm gonna do it together so it's compressed. Okay, I'm gonna do my little flippy-do thing. All right. Okay, so now we have our fly. I am definitely not following the directions right now, just to warn you guys. So if you want to do it the other way, go for it, because I'm sure it's great, you know? So this right here, we want to stitch in here like that. And so I could maybe tack this to the zipper first. I'm kind of like, I don't want my bad bobbin to show again. Oh, maybe it won't because it's thicker. Okay, let's hope. I'm just gonna tack this to the zipper here. I'm keeping it pretty close to the edge so that, why is that? Why did I just arbitrarily pick the spot where that starts? What the heck? I have seam ripped so much on this project. Way more than any project in a really long time. What the heck? I want the raw edge to be flush with the waistband. That's why I'm taking it out right now. Now I'm getting a little mad at myself. I'm not even like hungry. I have nothing to blame this on except that I'm trying to rush I don't know why I'm trying to rush. It doesn't matter. This is what I'm supposed to do today. I'm supposed to sit here, sew part 1 with you. That's all I have to do. So we'll just calm down and just sew only what we're supposed to sew. I get so eager sometimes, I'm like, oh, this is gonna go together so good. And then I start, you know, rushing it. Which is so funny because it's not like my how-to videos, right? Like, or anything like that. I just sit there and I'm like, do this, then this, then this. All right. Almost. 3 more stitches. All right. I wanted to start from the zipper side so that the bobbin was on the underside, and that's why I started at the bottom. But if you don't have to start at the bottom, I would start from the top so that you can line up this raw edge here flush with where your other waistband is. Remember, I'm starting my, or waist seam, I'm starting my stitching here, or my zipper tape a little below the waist seam here. So we'll do the same on this side here, like that, just to make sure. Well, I'm obviously not doing a great job of it today, Terry. It's so funny when I start kind of messing up and start going, dang it, why do I keep messing up? And then one of you says something, I'm like, yeah, but obviously it's not working out today. It's unscripted. I mean, I think that's the difference, right? It's unscripted and unedited. There we go. Okay. So now we just have this here as like a, that's actually gonna look nice on the inside. I'm glad I did that. All right. People who make directions for sewing patterns, they've probably thought some things out that we should follow, right? All right, so now let's look at where this is landing. So this is what I'm talking about. This is kind of far over. Huh. This wasn't turned back enough. That's the problem. I should have turned this back half the amount of the full seam allowance. That's what it is. You know what I mean? So if this were over more, then it would fall right behind here. You see that? So you got to use this notch here. That is the full, like that's the seam, right? There's a curve, so that's why it looks kind of bumpy, but it's fine. Once it's on me, it's not going to look bumpy right there, right? So you see how this is lining up right here? This whole thing needs to go that way more, and that's because I used my usual seam allowance. I used 3/8 to turn back this first one when I should have done half the amount of this right here. And this right here is more like 1.25 inches wide. Well, it's like 1 inch here, but down here, it's a lot more when you use their full seam allowance there, unless this wasn't supposed to be that much, which is possible because I have a little bit hanging off right here. So if this is 1 inch, this should have been more like a 1/2 inch. Would that have been enough? Let's see. I like telling you these things so that you can kind of troubleshoot and go, oh, my pattern isn't like this one. How would I do it? How would I adapt it, right? So if we looked at this, I'm holding this down, right? So this is its natural state. We're not distorting it or anything, right? We're lining it up at the notch there. We've got our seam lined up really nicely, actually, right? We pull this back. We need to iron that, I'd say a fat quarter more, right? See, this is the deficit right here, this amount that we can see of the zipper. So this is a pretty easy fix. All we have to do is pop out this seam and then fold this back more and then stitch it down again. So we're really, it's not a big deal. Like that seems like it because you're kind of like, oh my God, I've sewed my zipper. But this is just a positioning thing. right? We're just folding it down and top stitching it down. And because my tension is so bad on the bobbin thread because of the top stitching thread, it's going to be really easy for me to take it out. Definitely don't enjoy removing stitches on zipper tape though. Zipper tape is kind of a weird beast. It's its own little thing. It's a really big back stitch, Saremy. There we go. We're done. So we'll pull this off, right? And so now what we need is this to fold back a lot more, actually. We're going to fold it back like this much, but we can test it. So let's put this, let's attach this here, and we'll just pin it. Night, Malin. Okay, we're just going to pin this in one spot there, right? And then if we were to put this right here, whoops, we need to fold this back more. It's like once you start understanding like how things are going to go, like the logistics, and you can just do whatever you want. So we'll pull this back more, like that. We're not really changing anything down here. We're just folding back that under amount a little more. I think that'll do it. Let's double check it though. This is pinned a little too high. There we go. So let's see if we pinned that there. There's one pattern company that this is kind of how they assemble a lot of their things. They don't do it right sides together, they just stitch it all down the way they want it. You could do that, especially when you're learning. You're kind of like, okay, I don't really know how it goes from inside, but I know how I want it to finish. So that works. That works. And then this is folded back a lot more, like that. Look at it down here. This is a perfect place to look at it. So if we have this turn back right here lining up with our edge of our zipper, right? That's the amount we need right here between the seam and the fold edge. So what I had before was like this, right? It was too far away, which puts, this would have been a good check, right? So it puts this way over here. So this is how you would check it. Start at the base of your zipper and fold it over. There we go. All right, so we're just going to go and fold this new amount, quite a bit. Right here. Let's unfold this here. It's a lot. I kind of want to trim it off with the serger. Like that. And you should have like a little pleat down here. I'm trying to encourage that little pleat. You'll always have this little like pleat right here because that's the under amount. I thought my zipper was attached. It's not. It was pinned. Let's see here. Yeah, and so now when I pull this back, I can see this fold is lining up right here with this zipper. And does it go all the way down? Because we want a nice even amount. I think so. Let's encourage this little thing right here. Now we'll stitch it down. Just looking still at my, I think that's not enough. I don't think this is enough. Is it now all fold all the way to the notch? No. One's not going to fold at the notch, only the, just this one, the front. I feel like I want a little more than this, like this. I want this to fold like that. Let's try that. I think I unironed it out. So we put this here, right? And we pin this down here. We won't line it up at the top. We're just looking for the depth. So all I did here was pin, we can do a little better, right? Put these raw edges, or the serge and the zipper together like this, right? Just like that. So now lift that over. So now we need this to sew to the zipper tape. So yeah, I need a little bit more. Down here is where I knew it was kind of like, it's not really enough. I could tell. I wasn't getting a nice little pleat. So like that, if I pleated it that much, and I folded the same amount all the way down. This one is actually folded at the notch, you're right. I think that's a coincidence though, because it doesn't usually. Because that's confusing me actually. Okay, like that, there we go. Yeah, because this notch needs to go to this notch over here, and this notch should be away from that stitch line. Yeah, right, Barbara? I know. I used my default amount, but as soon as I saw the problem, I was like, it's half the seam. It usually, like, it works out to about half of the turn back of this side. So if this was an inch, you turn back this a ½ inch. Because you need this little overlapping right there, right? Okay, so let's iron this again. The magic of these lap zippers is this part right here, is this little under amount. And this wasn't set up for sewing a lap, so you know, I'm just trying to work with how it was already set up. So I'm going to actually redo this back stitch too, because we can see I have this thread showing right there. I kind of love this kind of thing. This is the kind of thing I really love figuring out, and figuring out the logistics and the spacing and stuff like that. I just redid my back stitch there. Hopefully it looks a little better now. It's a little tighter. All right, so now we can stitch the zipper down here to the pant. Just like this. I have too much stuff over here. My other zipper foot. I'll still put that a little bit above the tape. It's hard to get it going with this zipper foot too. That's why I just kind of get going right there. All right. Pull back this here. Like that, like that. All right. I kind of want this stitched down lower. Let's go a little lower. Oof, yeah, my zipper foot is like, no, I'm not gonna back up over that speed bump. I'm just a skinny little smooth thing. All right, now we have everything in place. We're gonna lay it down here and we're gonna secure everything. This notch is gonna go to that notch there, so we haven't changed our circumference at all. We're gonna have that little bit of the underlayment down. And this is when you want to make sure that where you're going to stitch is going to line up with the zipper tape under there. With the curve, it's going to make it a little bit more like, am I doing that right? I'm going to start, I think, just below this juncture here. I sort of want to stitch up the side here. You know, it's like, did I want a stitched side seam or not? I say this, I think, in my lapped video, that I feel like the hardest part for this is getting a perpendicular, going out a perpendicular amount and not being at a crazy angle. Because that's definitely something I would do. I know, right? And making it look easier than what I'm doing probably, huh? This is a pretty wide one. Just checking it right now because I'm working on this curve here. I can feel it though, so it's pretty easy. I was a little worried about getting torque there because I think I was getting a little bit of torque. Whew, I made that look hard, didn't I? After all, I sold you on it being easy. Definitely could have done a better job, but it's nice and clean. It's not very even though. It's very wide because I used what I had with me, and I don't actually mind that. I mean, it's like a fly, right? Look at all those junctures. Look at all this going on here. What if you didn't do this? What if you stitched like this? I kind of like that idea. Take this out right here. I think that'll look kind of cool. You gotta go, Barbara. See ya. Yeah. If you wanted to do this without such a wide lap zipper, I recommend making the seam allowance there about 3/4, maybe an inch. And then when you fold back the smaller side, do that fold back at about 3/8, and then it'll probably all work out. Your lap will be about 3/4 or so. You can do them narrower, you really can, but you just have less room for error. Because lap zippers used to be pretty narrow. Like when they were finished, they'd be like 1/2 inch wide or, 3/4 tops, maybe 5/8. But the thing is, you have to be able to, the lap has to be able to go over the hump of the zipper teeth. And that's one thing a lot of people don't take into consideration when they're making the lap zipper. And that's why sometimes they sit up, right? They sit like this, because you don't really want this to end here, right? You don't want the lap to end here. your stitching would show. It needs to go past your stitching, but then you don't want the thickness of your zipper, depending on what kind of zipper you use, to hold the turn back up, and then you can see it from the side. All right, which one am I taking out? This one here? No, this one here, right here. Cool. It secures the fly still too. Yeah, it's pretty smart. And then when it's on my hip, I like that. Cool. That's a good stopping point. I think I could have interfaced this, honestly. The turn back. I should have thought that through more, sorry. I think I could do a much nicer job. I was going to do it on Saturday, and I was like, no, I just want to keep going. I want to do something besides pockets today. So, but I think it does look good with the angle there. So, yeah. All right. Saturday, I'll be finishing the pants all the way through with the elastic and the waistband, side seams, inseams, hems. I think it's a button and button, it's a tack button and buttonhole closure on the tab waistband. I was thinking about doing a snap because I have heavy duty snaps. And I can do that on camera pretty easily too because I don't have to get out my other machine for a buttonhole. So this looks like the front of pants with a modified zipper fly, doesn't it? This kind of looks wiggly right here, and it's because it's right by the head of the zipper right there. Yeah, snaps, right? Snaps. We're team snap. Well, thanks for hanging in there. I'll see you guys on Saturday. I don't know what else to add. If you're trying to join me, you can get caught up, I'm pretty sure, because you could probably sew these a lot faster than me. These look like I stitched through. I'm pretty proud of that. I hope my other ones look as good. Well, hopefully. I'll see you guys Saturday, and thanks for stopping by. Have a good one. Have a good Friday, too, and the rest of your week.